Oh, friendly greetings. I'm TORLEY. You have joined my synthesizer masterclass or something like it. And I'm going to show you, I got this Velcroed on, just a cool mod, quick, very hacky to get, stick it on. It is the VMeter. You can see this up close from Curious Inventor. Thanks graciously to Scott Driscoll for such a tremendously cool device. Blue LED, very responsive. Of course, if I had druthers, I have my matching pink and green, but I can't complain too much. Hey, I can stick it to my hand like that too. That's one of the benefits of wearing gloves with Velcro. But it's really neat because it's about $60 US, really affordable. You might be wondering, what's the point of having something like this when you already have all manner of wheels and joysticks? Well, one of the advantages is you can control it very lightweight with one finger. Less physical force means quicker kind of reactions. And another thing, it's really cool because not only does it do the pitch bend, but you may have noticed when I was pressing down, it can modulate. You can see the utility on the screen according to my force in the surface area pressed like that. Look, wobble. And I'm controlling the Native Instruments Monarch, a new part of the Complete 9 Ultimate suite. Thank you graciously to Kier of Native Instruments for your support on that groovy baby. I'm going to show you more of these sounds in a little bit, but I just want to express my thanks to Scott. He added a function that I requested. This is great right here, enable pitch wheel mode. So with a physical wheel like this, without short of going really hardware hacky, you're limited to one return kind of spring back speed. And you either got what you have and you like it or you don't. But here, you see, it can bounce back slower if I set it to 1 here. Let me scale it to 1 and let's store those. Jiminy Jaminy Groovy. Yeah, see now the LED is bouncing back much slower like that. And this is useful for different performance techniques, which I'll get into a little bit later, but and of course, you've set it, I usually set mine 6 or 8 or something. You set it super high, then it makes less and less of a difference, noticeable difference, but it looks instantaneous, doesn't it? So it depends on the kind of technique. It's very context sensitive. All right, beyond the funky riffs, let's show you what else this killer pairing can do. Now, Monarch is inspired by the original Minimoog, a veritable synthesizer classic, like the forebearer. It's kind of like what Apocalypse is to the modern day mutants, except Minimoog and Dr. Moog, certainly not evil, quite the opposite of that. Benefactors of humanity. But before I rant on, so here we have some nice modulation. I was going to say the original Minimoog had, as shown on right here, traditional wheels. So you're controlling it differently, but nonetheless very expressive. You can get bubbly. One thing I wish that was added here, though, beyond authenticity, is the pitch bend range is limited to plus or minus 5 semitones, unfortunately. And I am a big stickler, as you may know from previous videos, for being able to set that to whatever you darn well please. And who says you're limited to 1 finger here? Another badass thing you can do is tapping technique. I really love that that sings with the filter there. Now, this is Scanner XT. It's another Reaktor ensemble in the whole Native Instruments Reaktor collection. Wonderful, wonderful. It's one of my favorites. You can generate such bizarre parallel universe kinds of sounds. And it's not monophonic, which means polyphonic. You can play multiple notes at once without them canceling each other out. See here, the mod wheel controls the source. Another really useful and fun application is with the sound design, creating soundscapes in the Scanner. For instance, if you just play like this, it might be a nice sounding sort of pad. It's fairly lush. But when you start to add in that expressivity, See, it's scanning the waveform there. And with the slow bounce back of the pitch bend, or you can manually drag it back. It's really cool because it's really easy to plug and play, and of course you can control other things, not just the mod wheel, whatever you can set it to in your DAW. I was very pleasantly surprised. It exceeded expectations. There are so many ways which you can play this. If you are very subtle, you can almost have a detuning effect, like the pitch instability. I'll demonstrate. See, very subtle. Then I'm pressed down. See, it sings like a formant. I want you to think about how to make your synthesizers sing, not just static notes, but channeling your authentic artist voice. And create some creepy dissonance. See, it's almost like a horror movie. You can very easily change the mood from angelic to that sort of nasty stuff. Really cool thing with Razor here, you may have seen a project preset I did for it before, is you can set the pitch bend to extreme ranges, 108. And in doing such a fast and long pitch change, can almost sound like lasers at time. In fact, if I go to the very first one, Big Cinema is a good example. So, it sounds like lasers right there, and if you set it, I think it's set it already pretty high. Whoop, that's not the right one. Go back there. I've set it there. Here it comes. Like electro music, electro house and breaks and dubstep and whatnot, has a lot of those kind of piercing mid-range frequencies, and they're really easy to do when you have a keyboard and a controller like this. It could be any other keyboard. I like having this one for a little more levity. It's not weighted. Beautiful sounds played in, this time, Prism, also a part of the Reaktor ensembles. And this is really, it sounds like an alien lap steel almost. Whoa, got a little bite there. And it's even more expressive, of course, because you think a limitation a conventional piano has that a synthesizer goes beyond is pitch bend allows you to enter the spaces between the 12 notes or keys as you have them, like a string instrument can. So it's vital to simulating certain techniques and going to new areas. Really subtle. It's a bit harder to do with this because you always have the force pushing back, but here it's just your finger. And again, if you find that too unnaturally fast, you can slow down that speed like I showed you earlier. I'm just going to drag for now. Sounds almost Chinese Hawaiian. Another thing I like to do is just drag it up from the onset of the note, like, whoops, not quite. But if you have it there and like that, you can hold it at the very edge so you know it's illuminated. and sometimes just a little does so much for the ears. Very healthy. One last example, we return to Monarch with a sound with a name that should conjure up some classic imagery, and I'm going to play the lighter keyboard on top. It's just easier to do stuff like that. So in addition, of course, you can glide, you can mix techniques, glide on the keyboard, have the pitch bend right here. Very dramatic vibrato there. You can do that effect yourself if you want to control the speed, which is equivalent of. And sometimes it just takes a little tap or a touch. Another technique I like to do is tapping, by the way, speaking of that. Because it's monophonic, it has to glide between there. But a simple tap can add so much expression. For example, instead of becomes you can liken it to a guitar on string bend at times. See, instead of just flat, it bended. And having that visual feedback is great there. Whoops, a little bit off the road. But you have to go off the beaten path to find new sonic gems. There you have it. It is Native Instruments Complete 9 Ultimate combined with the Curious Inventor VMeter. A nice pairing like wine and cheese.